to Talking Sports. We're in our third segment, and with me right now is Mr. Wayne Dawkins, founder, CEO of Phase One. Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Well, you need to tell me about Phase One Academy Youth Basketball. What made you start that up?
Well, Phase One Academy is actually one of the programs that we run as Phase One Global, and we do a number of other programs as well too. But it's really a youth-focused basketball program, but we also, have other sports that we support as well too, and getting more into other sports. But essentially, I came into it because I had an opportunity as a young child to be introduced to youth sport. I was a football player, American football, and then basketball. And, the result of that, it kept me out of trouble, kept me focused in school. Eventually, I became one of the top high school basketball players in Toronto, Canada at the time. And I was able to earn a scholarship and get, my bachelor's degree and became an educator for a number of years and was able to do so much because what youth sport did for me, and being involved in structured youth sport. So that for me became, that was my sort of calling, within that, seeing that what it did for me, and knowing that maybe I can do that for other young people as well too, create that type of opportunity for them.
So basketball is the main sport, you said? What are the other sports you do?
Well, track and field, and we train football players. We train all sports when it comes to athlete development, their athletic development. But in terms of like our academy and competition, basketball is number one, and then track is what we're going into next, track and field.
This academy came about because you saw a need to make sure youngsters stay out of trouble and to give them something to be constructively occupied.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at what they've been going through with COVID, they've been without activity for a number of years. And, emotionally and mentally what that does to them, I know as adults how we've struggled,
yes.
With the effects of COVID, and imagine for these young people. So the opportunity to bring, youth sport back, help bring it back on the island is more than just keeping the kids busy. They need it. It's part of their health and their wellness.
What made you want to set up in Montego Bay? Why Montego Bay?
Yeah, Montego Bay was, I came here in 2019. My wife and I, we came to see an athlete that played for me at the Jersey Mike Classic. And I had the opportunity to go to a basketball clinic that was being held outside, and I met Dave Black. And Dave Black's a PE teacher at Herbert Morrison Technical School. And I just saw him working with the kids, and he's just so passionate and so committed. And I just struck up a conversation with him. And, next thing you know, we start dialoguing, and we decided to sort of build our academy in around him and his passion and the work that he was already doing in the Montego Bay community.
How has it been received?
Oh, incredible. Our first ID camp, we had over 100 kids, and now we have about 50 that train consistently, at least 2 or 3 times a week. That's led by Dave and, our staff over there. And, the families are very happy. We have one young man who we scholarshiped and brought to our academy in Phoenix, Arizona right now. So he's doing extremely well. He's in his first year over there. So we're not only just, investing in them here, but we're investing in also, creating opportunities for them to go abroad and play as well too.
How much do you have to motivate them to get them to do this?
With the young people, it's there. I think is once you create that environment, it just sort of draws it out. Because essentially with them, they have that passion, they have that desire to do something special. And with basketball being as popular a sport as it now, I mean, these young people are looking at these athletes on TV, and I'm sure, just like myself, having dreams of one day playing on the level that they are. So that energy is there; it's in them. I think it's for us as the adults to help create that environment to help bring it out. Without us doing that, it's just it starts to fade away, and it becomes discouragement and becomes disappointment, and can manifest itself into other negative things.
What are your plans to spread from Montego Bay to other parts of the island?
Well, we have 4 other locations that we're planning. Papine, which I happen to be, I was born in Papine, so it's kind of interesting. Life's going full circle. Manchester, and as well as, you know, 2 locations in Kingston, Papine as well as at Excelsior. So Papine High School and Excelsior. As well as I mean, we like to go more places because again, we have to support each of these academies. So we have to sort of take our time. But right now, those would be the main locations that we're looking to start with. And it's ages 10 to 18. That's what we're really focused on, getting those young people into our, you know, our structured programs.
Can you give me an idea how many Jamaicans you have in your program in Phoenix right now?
Well, we only have one that's directly from Jamaica, but it's interesting enough because so many of us are of Jamaican descent. So in all our academies, you know, in Canada as well as in the United States, I'd probably say almost half of them are of Jamaican descent. So even if they're not directly from here yet, because we've just started in Jamaica, it's you know, the impact of Jamaicans on our DNA in basketball is incredible. Because when you look at some of the Canadians, for example, that are taking over the NBA, you know, you have R.J. Barrett, who's family Jamaican descent, Anthony Bennett, Jamaican descent, Tristan Thompson, Jamaican descent, Jamal Murray, Andrew Nicholson, Denham Brown. When you look at the whole list of Canadian athletes that have been invading the NBA that you're talking about, that's all Jamaican DNA right there. So,
any plans to have like an exchange program, Jamaicans going to the States and your other academies, wherever they're to come here?
Oh yeah, absolutely, because you know, the sports tourism is huge, and that's going to be necessary, not just you know, just for the sake of games. It's also going to elevate the level of basketball. So we have plans of bringing our academy athletes here, but also opening that up to any athletes any other, you know, teams and programs that want to come. And we know that it's going to be well received. I know within our academy, because you know, we have about 100+ athletes in our academies in North America, and all the families are excited when we mentioned coming. You know, we're only delayed because of COVID. Otherwise, that's one of the delays, but we were only delayed because of COVID, why we haven't come yet. But the interest in coming here is huge. I mean, there's thousands of teams abroad, and you know, Canada, for example, because of our close proximity to the United States, we've been enjoying the benefit of our own sports tourism into America, you know, to compete in what we call like AAU circuits and club circuit. And that's what contributed to raising the level of basketball in Canada. So the ability to do that into Jamaica, you know, increase sports tourism and bring youth teams here, it's going to do, you know, not only just great things for the youth here, but, you know, great things for the economy, great things for the, you know, exposing people to, you know, the potential and the opportunities here in Jamaica.
Would you happen to have a tentative date for that first exchange?
Right now, it's May.
It's May.
So right now we're working on, you know, our venue. So you know, we have a couple options for that.
Which are?
Right now it's a convention center in Montego Bay, and bring in a floor. That's where they've hosted the Jersey Mike Classic. But you know, we have some other plans of you know, a couple other locations. But we're going to have to outfit it. You know, make it a little bit more modern to really attract those international youth teams, because they've become accustomed to playing in, you know, modern facilities. So that's something that we have to, you know, meet that need if we really want to, you know, assure that we get as many teams coming down here as possible. So that's our plan is for May. Originally it was going to be January. You know, we would have had teams here, you know, this weekend coming up. So we're excited and we're coming. Our families are very supportive in our academy, and again, same thing. We got so many families of Jamaican descent. So for them to have an opportunity to bring their children to play in Jamaica is incredible excitement.
Speaking of this weekend, any plans to be anywhere? I hear you might be around G.C. Foster College. Just wanted to hear what the purpose of your trip will be.
You know, I'm not going to go into too many details
you can tell us
about this weekend. This weekend, actually, we're hosting a men's professional team tryout.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I'm going to have to save, you know, some of that detail maybe for another conversation, but it's long overdue. And I had an opportunity to run men's professional leagues, like semi-professional leagues, and we have a women's semi-pro team in Phoenix, Arizona, and I think the opportunity to use that, to cultivate a group of young men that can be role models and be examples and give the young people here locally something to aspire to is I think that's really important. They need those direct role models here with them. Yes, they can see them on TV, but so that's one thing. So we're launching that, as well as an ID camp.
ID camp?
ID camp is when we start our academies, we sort of do an all-call, for any athletes that might be interested. So this weekend we have our ID camp at Pepin High School, and that will be at UTEC. We'll be hosting that at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning.
You mentioned sports tourism. I'm interested to hear, how do you think youngsters can impact sports tourism in Jamaica with your tour, with your Phase 1 Academy tour?
The youngsters that are coming down? Or
yes.
Well, I think it's a kind of, with sports tourism is an interesting thing with youth, because these young people have an entourage. For example, I have a nephew, Taden. He's 11 years old. He plays basketball, and if he comes down, mom's coming, dad's coming, auntie, uncle. The young people don't, when it comes to youth sports and youth tourism, they don't travel by themselves.
Yes.
They travel with their whole entourage of family members. And so once you begin a youth sports movement, youth sports tourism movement, you're not talking about just moving athletes across borders. You're talking about bringing whole families, as opposed to some of the sort of either professional or international events at the older ages, where maybe the athletes will come themselves. Maybe they'll bring some fans that are interested. But at the youth level, you are guaranteed
an entourage.
An entourage.
Yes.
They can't send them without them.
And based on what you have seen so far, have you seen any talent that has popped out that you think would say yes, would fit in at your Phoenix Academy? Have you seen anything that grabbed your attention?
Yes. Dave is doing a phenomenal job with the group at Herbert Morrison in Montego Bay, and I had the opportunity to work with them. I was just here 2 weeks ago. I had the opportunity to work with them, and I told Dave he's doing a phenomenal job under the conditions, because he hasn't had the same kind of access over the last couple of years and everything, and just starting out. But absolutely, there's some incredible talent here, and like I said, the DNA. Jamaican DNA in basketball is very, very strong, and this is the heart of it right here.
We need more time with you. This time is not enough. Ladies and gentlemen, Wayne Dawkins, founder of CEO of Phase 1. He has big plans where basketball is concerned and Jamaica. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be looking forward to meeting up with you again to hear a lot more.
Absolutely. I'm excited. Looking forward to it.
Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. We'll be running to a break. We'll be right back.